What's up, guys? Emster Knows Hoops back today with another video, and today we are talking about the red hot Houston Rockets, who with a 10-4 record are currently third in the Western Conference, and have really been able to unlock their younger players to a level that I don't think any of us necessarily expected. So before we get into why this team has been getting so red hot, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe. We are on the goal to 1K, and honestly, you guys have been doing nothing short of killing it. So if you know a Rockets fan or someone who's a fan of a certain player on this team, send them this video. Again, we're on the goal to 1K, people. I know we can hit that goal. So let's go ahead and get it done. So the first thing I want to talk about is the emergence of Tari Eason. Tari Eason has been averaging 12, 6, and 1 on 53 from the field, 34 from 3, and then 68 from the line. The line is not very good, but he's giving you a block and about 2 steals a game. So he's giving you about 3 stocks, which for a defensive-minded team, I believe they are top 3 in the entire league at the moment. That is going to be important. So let's get into, first of all, the scoring of what Tari Eason has been able to provide for this team and why it's so crucial to take them to the next level. So even here, right, Eason is able to be an easy catch and shoot guy, which I think is important because the spacing for this team, when you do have a guy like Ime Thompson, who really is not a shooter, right, or a Jock Landell's out there, you got some non-shooters. You need someone like a Tari Eason to help differentiate the scoring diet of the team. And I love here how he positions himself, right? So Draymond's focused on Dillon Brooks. Ime comes in. Draymond's still thinking that, you know, Tari's sort of back here, but instead, right, a beautiful dunk by Tari Eason. And this is a game, by the way, where the Rockets came back down by like 30. And, you know, Sengun and Green were not really playing that well. It was a Tari Eason game. And that's why I think it's so important that someone like him has unlocked his scoring potential. Because, again, I think for someone like this, who hasn't even necessarily started that many games, to be getting, you know, 12 to 13 off your bench is huge. Like, I love this Euro that he gets, right? He gets past Healed, right? Looney's too late to jump over. So there's 2 options, right? It's like, okay, I could dump it to the escape man here in Sengun, and again, easy dunk. But instead, right, he gets a tough lay, almost an and 1, and they just start, again, rolling offensively. What this team has been able to do has been really remarkable. I got to give Ime Udoka credit where it's due. He's helped unlock some of these offensive talents that I did not expect. Now, I also think at some point, Houston should be pulling the plug on some of these young players. Now, what do you mean by that, Emster? Well, I made a video, I believe, on Cam Whitmore in offseason. And, you know, I'm hanging out, you know, season's going on, and I go on, you know, basketball reference once in a while. I'll click on every team or every other team or something and just see what's going on. Cam Whitmore gets sent to the G League. And I'm looking at, I'm like double checking. I'm like, that cannot be accurate. After what he did for you the previous season, 7 games, and you send him to the G League? Okay. So at some point, some of these young players, you have to ultimately make the decision of, is this guy part of my franchise, or are we pulling the plug to try and get some veterans and to, you know, make this a contender that can play for the next however many years? But again, I think what Eason has done for this team offensively has been remarkable, and that is even before I get into the defensive side of the basketball. And getting into the defensive side of the basketball, funny enough, there's Cam Whitmore as well. But the team starts to get into a rush offense, right? The Warriors are rushing. Eason comes over. Landell does a great job of waiting, and then Eason is able to just get right behind him. Kuminga goes up a little too soft with the lay, and again, is able to get the block, which I think is important because, again, Eason, now he's got B-pods on him on the perimeter, gets a piece of the shot, right? Like, that's beautiful defense. Like, Eason doesn't sink. Eason does not give in to any of the jab steps enough so that when he gets to the release point, right, he's already still jumping with him, and he gets the piece of the 3 ball. So again, I think Tari Eason has been a big reason this team has been successful this year to start. Right, like the screen navigation's beautiful. Gets the block off Kuminga before the ball can hit the backboard. Right? And even then, if they give up this 3, right, it's one of those things like that defensive effort from Eason is still something that we need to commend and something that needs to be talked about. So again, I think if you talk about why has this team been so red hot, especially when guys like Green and Sengun has sort of struggled to start off the gate or have certain games where one of them's clicking, the other one isn't. I think guys like Tari Eason are why this team is so successful. And then we're going to get into Ime Thompson, the other reason I think this team's been uber successful, and it's a big part of his defensive game. So first we're going to look at just some of Ime Thompson's defensive highlights here, right? So goes into double the man, right? Because at that point they understand like everyone else has sort of cinched onto their guy, right? Man's over here, but you got Jalen Green right here. You still got Eason on Powell. Obviously, Landell's there. And then Reed Shepard and Ime do a great job of pressuring there. And then again, Ime is perfect in the transition game. I mean, that's a big part of his game, right? He's so athletic. He's so talented. And then this is crucial, right? You're only up 6. You got 42 seconds. Ime here, this is just beautiful basketball. Bones, Ime immediately realizes they're doing, like a bait and switch of like, okay, they run this little screen action, but it's fake, right? Because then man is able to just immediately pass it in, should get a dunk, 4-point game. 4-point game, then you can figure it out. But Ime does a great job getting right in front, and then the awareness to get the ball back inside, right? Like that's how you close out a basketball game. That is how you're going to win basketball games, quite frankly. And it's because, again, the defensive identity of this team is rooted in Ime Thompson and in guys like Tari Eason, Dylan Brooks, Fred VanVleet's willing to put in the effort, right? I think that's so crucial. And then I want to talk about the scoring / playmaking that I've been seeing from Ime as well. So then when we look at what Amen's been able to do, I love this screen action, right? So he's then able to get the switch, and Batum and everyone sort of collapses in. So Jalen Green does a great job here, right? So he calls for the screen, slips, but he brings his Chris Dunn with him, right? Waits. The rest of the team still spread out because you got Reed Shepard, you got Tari Eason, who can all shoot the basketball, right? Jalen Green, this is a great read, by the way. And since I won't get to talk about him as much, I think Jalen Green has been showing legitimate steps towards developing. Now, obviously, he has not been as good as he was in that second half of last year, but I believe he's made legitimate efforts to change the way he plays in some way. Now, this is a beautiful pass to Ime, right? An easy dunk. Like that, for someone like him who currently, struggles to create for himself in terms of, shooting, right, to create separation on the perimeter to attack, what he's been able to do instead of that has been remarkable. And you really can't ask for anything more. And again, I think him being a transition player is perfect for a team like this, right? Sengun gets the ball, keeps pace, does a great job, by the way, of reading both sides of like, okay, do I go with Fred or am I following through with Ime? And he realizes the men just, again, there's just an athletic difference with someone like Ime Thompson. And it's making more and more sense why a team like the Rockets took him, right? And again, this is a beautiful shot, right? Because Powell is basically stuck inside, right? So then when Ime goes outside, Zubac can't really get there to block it because Fred does a good job of forcing, Zubac to respect him. Gets a little, float game. And that's how you play. Like, it's just so easy for him. And I love that it's when the play breaks down. And right now, the 3 ball is atrocious. I know he makes this one. But listen. Ime Thompson could genuinely be probably the best or second best player on the team if that 3 ball falls. Because his ability to pass and play make and then the defense is remarkable. But his lack of a 3 ball has been, it hurts. It hurts. For sure. It's something that's just necessary in today's game unless you're someone like a Giannis where you're just so dominant on the interior and can get to your spot on the interior however you damn well please. That your shooting is going to need to adapt. Now, unless you're like a traditional 5 or something, that's a whole different story. Then no. But again, I think what Ime's been doing for this team on both sides of the basketball is nothing short of remarkable and is necessary for this team to win. And now that's a part of the reason why. Because when him and Tari Eason are out there and they're clamping, right, they then get transition buckets for a guy like himself and even Eason at times. Getting those easier buckets are going to help him get into rhythm, which is why this team has been nothing short of remarkable. And they've honestly been really fun to watch for the most part, minus that game against the Pistons. Any Rockets fan who watched that game, you will know that stretch in the second quarter was some of the most atrocious basketball I've seen in my life. But those games are still entertaining. And then finally, I do want to talk about the combination of Sengun and Jalen Green. Last night they played my Chicago Bulls, and they finally had a night where they both clicked. I believe they're both like 50 to 60% from the field, giving you each like 20 apiece. And then, Sengun gave you like 20, 11, and 11. Jalen Green gave you 2 steals. Like, what they've been able to do as a tandem has been important, right? Like, I love this here. So, gets Vooch out on the perimeter, gets a jump. Vooch jumps at it, right? Waits, Patrick Williams, ball watching, Dylan Brooks keeps cutting. Beautiful pass by Sengun, right? Like, that is like pitch perfect basketball. And again, at times I think they were too reliant on Fred to be that main, ball handler distributor. I think they do need to be more willing to be like, at some point, I don't think they're going to pick up his team option, by the way. I think this is Fred's last year on the Rockets. But Reed Shepard here, right? Cuts. Goes over to Jabari Smith, right? Gets it up. Now, again, like I said with someone like Jokic, the discussion around what counts as an assist would change the way we view every player in the league, because half of them would not be assists. But again, I love what they use, because Sengun is used like Sabonis. And, baby Jokic, whatever, but like his ability to work out of the DHO, his ability, like, I love this decision right here, right? So he gets Vooch on him. He waits. Brooks is rolling, right? And instead of going for the DHO, he basically gets an option. I don't know if you guys ever play Madden, but it's like a DHO basically. Or an RPO. My apologies. An RPO. Where basically, if you want, right, you can run the ball, which in this case would be just doing your typical DHO to Fred, or you're passing it. And you go with this little tougher pass to Brooks, right? But he gets into the rim. And I think that is what makes him such a great player, is that he does have those, like, that IQ. And again, in transition, right, he's scanning, he's waiting. And instead of going to Green, right, he goes with Dylan again, who can get to the rim. And again, Sengun's always going to be a bigger body, so he's always going to be able to operate differently. And again, instead, you see, because again, there was the opportunity for an option. Brooks is cutting. Right now, Sengun, if he was looking, right, he could have had that option of trying to get it to him, but instead, right, he goes with the run option. He goes with Fred VanVleet, which I think is so it's crucial. Like, this is important to basketball. Like, this is why, and their offense is doing really well too. They're like 13th in the league or 11th. They're right outside the top 10, and he's a big reason why. And the other reason why is honestly Jalen Green. While his efficiency has fallen down again, I think what Jalen Green's been able to do in terms of finding that shot and being willing to not take all the shots. Like, he had 9 shots in this game, right? And I think what he's been able to do has been really remarkable, because he's playing more selfless basketball, and buying into the system and buying into the team. And that's important. I don't like doing the whole ESPN gimmick of like, leadership, whatever, but at the end of the day, right, how your best players are the guys that get paid the best on the team, right? Like Sengun and Green both got their rookie extensions. You have to play like that caliber of player. And they've been nothing, and I mean nothing, short of remarkable in that stint. So let me know what you guys think down below. Is this Houston start something for real? Because they started hot last year, they climbed the West, and then they kind of fell off. What do you guys think? Let me know what you think down below. Do you think Ime Udoka should be a rookie, or not a rookie, a candidate for Coach of the Year? As always, guys, this was Mr. Knows Hoops. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Have a beautiful rest of your day. We're on the goal to 1K, so share this with a friend. Peace out.